What's up guys, welcome back to another Destiny 2 news video. Today so we'll be going over the This Week at Bungie post for February 28th of 2019. Now if you guys didn't see earlier today, Bungie actually dropped a video documentary going over the Season of the Drifter and basically all the stuff that's going to be coming out, things like Gambit Prime, the new Horde mode, the Reckoning, the Thorns coming back, a bunch of stuff like that. I actually dropped a video on that just to kind of summarize all that information and get that out to you. So if you want to check out that video, that would be awesome. But Bungie actually dropped a photo going over the Season of the Drifter roadmap. So on the first day it comes out, we're going to be getting Gambit Prime and the Reckoning Tier 1. For the map, it's going to be New Arcadia, which is pretty cool. So we're going to be able to have access to that map, which is going to be sick. That's one of the new maps in Gambit Prime. And we're also going to be getting private matches in Gambit, so that'll be available for everybody to do. On March 8th, which is that Friday, we're going to get Reckoning Tier 2. March 12th, which is going to be the second week in Season of the Drifter, we're going to get access to the Deep 6 Gambit Prime map, which is going to be pretty cool. On the same day, we're going to get the Allegiance quest, which I'll go over what that is here in a little bit. On March 15th, which is going to be that Friday, we're going to get Invitations of the Nine and Reckoning Tier 3. Invitation of the Nine is going to be a version of the Xur bounty, which I'll be going over as well. March 19th, which is the third week of the Season of the Drifter, we're going to be getting Gambit Prime on Legion's Folly, which is obviously a map we've done before. And the week after that, which is March 26th, Gambit Prime is going to be on the Emerald Coast, which is the Gambit map in the EDZ, which is pretty cool. On April 2nd for Gambit Prime, all the maps are going to be available. Private matches for Gambit Prime and New Arcadia and Deep 6 maps. So we'll have access to basically everything that we're going to need for Gambit and Gambit Prime inside of those private matches. For April 9th, there's something called Arc Week, which is free to all players. Have no idea what the heck that means. I'm assuming it has to deal with some sort of arc damage, like all arc damage is going to be increased for everything, maybe? I'm not 100% sure, but still it's going to be pretty cool. And then April 16th, through May 6th, we're going to have the Revelry, which is the spring event. Going over the Allegiance quest, so previously forecasted as the Joker's Wild weekly quest, basically this will invite you to choose between the Vanguard and the Drifter, so pick a side to progress through the quest from their perspective. This pledge is character based, so if you have more than one Guardian, you can actually play through both sides, which is pretty cool. So it's not account based, it's character based, so as long as you have two Guardians available, you can do both different sides of this thing, which is pretty cool. Also going over Invitations of the Nine, which used to be called Xur bounties. This is essentially an exploration of the Nine and their mysterious place in the universe. The path begins with Xur on Friday, March 15th. Annual pass owners will be able to pick up an Invitation of the Nine from Xur. Once the objectives are completed, it will transform into a bounty called Into the Unknown. These will be available to complete once per character, similar to the bounties you got at the beginning of Forsaken for completing any activity with a full gear set. Week over week for 9 weeks, you'll collect new lore and powerful rewards. Obviously for Joker's Wild / Season of the Drifter, we're going to have access to 3 new Pinnacle weapons again, which is going to be pretty freaking cool. Let's go over the Vanguard one. So it's called the Oxygen SR3. This is a precision scout rifle that does solar damage. It is an Omelon scout, which is pretty interesting. So going over its unique perk, comes with Mega Neura. Dragonfly deals more damage based on the number of precision hits made beforehand. That's definitely interesting. Like, let's say you hit a boss like 3 times in the head and then you decide to shoot an ad. Like, that's going to be pretty cool. It's definitely going to be pretty interesting. They say scout rifles have had a long history with Dragonfly and its predecessor over the history of Destiny. This weapon seeks to double down on that history and improve upon it in a simple and effective way. The general design ethos of a Pinnacle weapon is that if it approaches an exotic S effect, it must work conditionally, such as activating on a kill event or asking you to risk getting into melee range. And if it works in a neutral setting, then it must only change the way you can do something, not necessarily what you can do. I'm pretty sure I said that right. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. Going over the Crucible rewards, called the Recluse. It is a lightweight submachine gun that does void damage. It is a Viced SMG. I freaking love Viced weapons, man. I'm glad they're actually having these Foundry weapons make a comeback, because we haven't seen them in a fat minute, and having a Viced SMG is pretty cool. So its perk is going to be Master of Arms. Kills with any weapon improve the weapon's damage for a short time. So any weapon you get a kill with, whenever you whip out this weapon, it's going to have Master of Arms. It essentially is going to give it kill clip without you actually having to get a kill with this weapon. So that's pretty cool. It could be any weapon. So it can be this weapon or it can be a different weapon, which is pretty cool. Some machine guns, as they say, are in a contentious spot in the game after the Forsaken release, with shotguns occupying a similar engagement range while also offering the one-shot kill potential that is so highly valued, along alongside always being in competition with sidearms and even the last word as a close quarters primary weapon of choice, some machine guns have fallen slightly to the wayside, so we created the Master of Arms perk so it could find its place in any given loadout. We look forward to seeing people experiment with it. For Gambit, we're getting a weapon called the 21% Delirium. This is a rapid fire machine gun that does arc damage, and it's a Suros one, which is pretty freaking cool. It actually has like the Suros like crossed out on it, which is very strange, but I think that just goes toward the attitude of the gun, which is pretty cool. Its unique perk is Killing Tally. Kills increase this weapon's damage until it is stowed or reloaded. So it's kind of like Rampage, except it never goes away unless you like stow it or reload it, right? So as Bungie says, this will be our first rapid fire machine gun for Destiny 2. How many of you out there guessed the archetype but not the sub-archetype? See, I didn't really think, I thought it was going to be adaptive frame because the last one was adaptive frame. So with the reintroduction of those bullet hose style machine guns, we figured a perk that played with their large magazine sizes and dealing with waves of enemies would be appropriate. Makes sense. Unlike the other two weapons, this one has one of the new weapon perks we're introducing in Season of the Drifter called Overflow to kick the magazine size out even farther for true spray and pray action. So it seems like the rapid fire machine guns are getting that new perk, which is pretty cool. Bungie also goes over exotic power weapons in Destiny, and they've been the go-to for quite some time due to getting the most bang for your buck in raw damage. These changes, along with others that will be shown when the full patch notes for 2.2.0 are revealed, are intended to make legendary power weapons a good option for those who enjoy their exotic kinetic and energy weapon slots. So we believe that the exotic you choose to run should be an expression of your playstyle rather than just the math working out in your favor. Exotics will always have unique properties, but a well-rolled legendary power weapon should be able to compete in raw damage with an exotic power weapon, although the legendary weapon may need conditional setups and mods to outright match. Nonetheless, the gap should not be so wide that you, the player, feel it necessary to run an exotic in any specific slot. They're implementing some grenade launcher changes, so PvE damage is increased by 25%. Reserve ammo increased on most grenade launchers. They say in most cases grenade launchers gain 3 rounds in reserves, but this amount may vary based on the perks you have, something like field prep, right? Also, the magazine perks and mods no longer affect ammo reserves. They say grenade launchers had a bit of a reserve issue due to the magazine having an impact on reserves, and as a result the reserve total wildly changed, typically not in the favor of the player. This was addressed and they got a PvE damage bonus on top of it to make them more competitive in that slot. They also changed rocket launchers. PvE damage increased by 60 to 65. Exotic rocket launchers have had their damage tuned separately. Makes sense. Going over cluster bombs, damage reduced by around 80%. This lost damage was moved to the rocket launcher's main projectile as noted above in the damage increase. So basically cluster bombs not going to be as effective, but rocket launchers in general got a pretty significant damage buff. So it kind of works out a little bit. Like the damage is still going to be even, it's just the cluster is not going to be like as effective. And I get it, rocket launchers were entirely too dependent on cluster bombs to be effective. Like the full auto perk on shotguns, cluster bombs would nearly double the damage output of any given rocket under optimal conditions. The result was that on any target that you could get all the cluster bombs to impact and detonate, rocket launchers fell by the wayside pretty harshly. By moving most of the damage of cluster bombs into the rocket itself, rocket launchers will now be more reliable and more effective all around, especially against aerial targets that cluster bombs would almost never damage. Going over some Eververse changes for Season of the Drifter. Basically, Bungie wanted to try something new. We'll be removing the prismatic matrix. Instead, every week there will be unique bundles available that you can directly purchase for silver, allowing you to directly buy exactly the items you want. All unique bundles will also contain an exclusive vanity item only through that weekly bundle. That is the dumbest thing. That is so dumb. Stop. This is like one of those things that's going to make Season of the Drifter bad. Like, I would rather have something like the prismatic matrix versus actually having to buy something like through that. You know what I mean? That's really annoying that they're getting rid of it. I know they tried it before to get rid of it, but I'd rather have the prismatic matrix there than me having to like pay actual money for something that I shouldn't have to pay money for. I thought Bungie would be past this, but it is what it is. Also, if you have any prismatic matrices, you can use them up until March 5th, but once Season 6 starts, you can dismantle them for 150 bright dust, which is pretty cool. Just some examples of some stuff. This is an emote here. Looks like he's eating some chicken and then he drinks a pop or a smoothie or water. I really don't know what it is. Next, here's a picture of the Eververse armor. I do like that Warlock armor. It's very Destiny 1-esque. I really like that. The Titan and the Hunter one's not too bad either. It actually, Actually, the Hunter one is like the Petra stuff. Like, you look at the shoulders right there, and it has like the fox emblem on the chest piece, which is pretty interesting. The Titan one, looks okay. It looks like the Titan King stuff. Also here, we have a video. Looks like Malfeasance is getting an ornament, which is pretty interesting. There's also going to be a new ship. It's basically like that Cabal ship that comes in, the Thrasher. That's pretty interesting. It's also going to be this other exotic ship, just basically like a regular ship here. I don't know why they have the last word ornament in here. It doesn't make any sense to me because we all have it. There's also going to be the Sparrow right here, which kind of looks like that Warlock exotic chest piece. The Wings of Sacred Dawn, that's kind of interesting. And then there's this exotic ghost shell, which is pretty cool. In the TWAB, they also have the update 2.2.0 Resolved Issues Part 3. I'm not going to read through all of it because it is a lot, but I do want to go over the deployment time for March 5th. So 8 a.m. Pacific time, Destiny 2 maintenance is scheduled to begin. Some Destiny companion features may become unavailable on the web, mobile, and third-party apps. 8:45 a.m. Pacific time, Destiny 2 will be taken offline. Players will return to the title screen. Players will not be able to log in. Around 9 a.m. Pacific time, Destiny 2 update 2.2.0 will begin rolling out across all platforms and regions. Destiny 2 will be back online and players will be able to resume gameplay once update 2.2.0 has been downloaded and installed. Maintenance will be ongoing, and then around 10 a.m. Pacific time, Destiny 2 maintenance is expected to conclude, and then you'll be able to have access to the Destiny companion features. Also, with Season of the Drifter coming up, you have to remember that some of your things will reset. Things like Nightfall rank, Valor rank, Glory rank, Infamy rank, your clan rank, the Prismatic Matrices, any incomplete triumph or quest step that requires players to complete objectives in a single season. All incomplete triumphs with Season 5 in the title will expire and be removed, so keep that in mind. And here are some examples of items that will not reset or expire. Quests for Pinnacle weapons from Season of the Forge, and any incomplete triumph or quest step that requires players to complete objectives across all seasons. Also, just a reminder, if you are carrying any powerful gear, like powerful engram drops or anything like that from bounties and stuff, it's only going to reward you 650 gear. So there's really no need to save those up for Season of the Drifter because it's not going to get you any higher tier gear. We're now at the end of the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, but there are 3 things I want to go over. First up, my clan, the D1 Fire Team, is looking for active players in the Destiny community. Our members play all sorts of activities from casual PvE and PvP to the endgame content. If you're actively playing Destiny 2 and want the benefits of a bigger clan, the link to join is below. It'll say clan link. All you have to do is request to join, and myself or one of the admins will approve you. If you're with a smaller clan and want the benefits of a bigger clan, and you have, like, let's say, like 7 to 10 members, I'm just using that as an example, but if you want to come over, just send me a message on any of my social media links and we'll try to get something set up. Number 2, if you want to know how to support me, there's a link below that says best way to support me. That'll take you to a 4-minute video. If you want to go check that out, that would be awesome. But if you don't want to do that, you can always like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this video, and all that good jazz if you want to do any of those things. Lastly, we have a link to the community Discord below. Just a heads up, we're looking for anyone with moderator experience to potentially run the Discord. I know for myself, I'm more of a player instead of a manager, so if you have some moderator experience, just send me a message and we'll try to get something set up. I know for myself, I'm on Xbox, but if you guys would like to talk or chat with me, Discord is going to be the best way to do those things. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this video. We'll catch you next time.